let's talk about the exam itself for a few moments. And I want to give you some information that will be helpful when you study for the exam so that you know what to expect. Now, the official name of the exam itself is Certified Ethical Hacker V8, and you'll see it with the little tagline of ANSI afterwards. And there's a little bit of a history to that. Previously, the Certified Ethical Hacker exam was developed by EC Council, and recently they've become ANSI certified, and ANSI certification brings about a little bit of changes when you have a certification exam that you're developing and putting out to the world. Basically, you have to have an independent authority write the exam, and they have to be independent from the people who publish it, put it out, the training and so forth, people who conduct those things. So that gives it credibility. It makes it so that the exam is written independently. And so it's a little bit of a better thing from a reputation standpoint. Being ANSI certified is very good. There are other major certification bodies, such as ISC Squared, that are ANSI certified as well. So it lends credibility to your certification. Now, the exam codes that you'll refer to the exam with when you sign up for it are a little bit different based upon where you take the exam, the venue itself. You have the 312-50 is the basic exam number. And you have Prometric Prime. You also have VIEW and Authorized Prometric Testing Centers. So you'll get a different exam code depending upon whether you take it. And that really depends upon where you sign up and so forth. You'll use the appropriate code based upon the test center or venue you'll be using. Don't worry about that so much until it comes time to sign up. And usually the test center, the test provider that you're going to be using will have the correct code in there. Now, the exam itself has 125 questions. And this sounds like a lot, and it really is. There are multiple guess questions typically, and you'll see a wide variety of levels of difficulty. You'll see different types of questions. You'll see questions that you might think, well, that's a networking question, or a question that you might think, well, that's a security question, but not true. All of these questions that you're going to have relate in some way to how you would use ethical hacking tools and techniques. Now, it's true that you have to have networking knowledge and security knowledge and programming knowledge to help you master the fundamentals of the tools and techniques that you'll need for the exam and for real life. So some of these questions may seem like they're networking specific questions, but they're really not. Now, your passing score is 70%. And if you do the math on that, that's 87.5 questions. And of course, you're not going to answer half a question correctly. So 88 questions is what you've got to answer correctly. Now, of course, we want you to answer all of them correctly. So that's what our goal is, to take you through this course and have you be able to answer these questions correctly and pass the exam with a very good score. You have 4 hours to take the exam, not a minute more. Some people finish a little bit earlier than that. Some people take the full 4 hours, and that's okay. You want to take your time and not hurry yourself, and you also want to double check your answers. Make sure you haven't checked the wrong answer or anything like that, to make sure that you've answered exactly the way you want to. So it's a good idea to check your answers as you're going through and even go back and check them before the test ends. Now, as I mentioned, you can schedule this exam through Prometric Prime, Prometric APTC, or a VIEW test center, and there are differences. Prometric Prime, you basically would take that if you're in an official course at an official test center. Prometric and VIEW are test centers that you can just go online, sign up, and take the exam at your leisure. So more about that later, but where you take the exam depends upon what kind of test voucher you'll need, how you'll pay, and what the exam code will be. So understand that. So when you pick a test center, basically you want to pick one that's close to you, and it could be a Prometric or a VIEW, but there are different procedures for both. So that's a little bit about the exam, and now we're going to talk about the content of the course and kind of the table of contents, if you will, in a moment, and talk to you about what we're going to do during this course. So sit back and relax.